Welcome! Welcome. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Happy July, first week of July. Hello, there is Brandy in chat. Hello, good morning. Oh, wait, no, it's the afternoon now. Good afternoon. Hi. All right. Um, Feeling pretty good today. Feeling pretty on top of things. I have my stream stuff prepared yesterday, so I feel less rushed today. And time is an illusion. It definitely is. We're already like halfway through the year because my I went to the dentist yesterday, and they were like, "Oh, like come back in August." And in my head, August was like very far away. August is next month. So my brain is like can't comprehend that we're like already halfway through 2024. All right, but yeah, welcome. It's July. Tomorrow's July 4th. Um, so it's gonna be a lot of holiday time for us Americans at least. But yeah, I wanted to kind of take each month as its own theme, and I wanted to see if I can maybe like challenge myself each month by doing something different. And for July, I wanted to do a book cover illustration theme. So there's like a lot of books that we all grew up with, and there's book covers that we all, really loved as kids or growing up. And I wanted to pick a couple that I really liked and start drawing them or interpreting them in my own style, or like just in general figuring out what my style is. So, so today I was gonna do "Where the Wild Things Are," which is written and illustrated by Maurice Sendak, and it is obviously a lot of people grew up with this book. A lot of people maybe saw also the movie. I didn't see the movie though. Maybe I should watch the movie. I need to add that to my list. But obviously, I grew up with the book. And I was kind of like, so this is my this was the research I did on what books I wanted to do. So I have like Madeline's in there. Um, the Hobbit is in there. I had a lot of people around me have this book cover for The Hobbit, which is the very well, like really beautiful blue and green and white and black sort of color scheme. And then Matilda, which is iconic. I really loved Matilda growing up, and Quentin Blake's illustration style is extremely like easy to pick up on. Like I can like recognize his art style, recognize the art style like really quickly. So it is very unique to the illustrator. I also had Ray Bradbury in there for Fahrenheit 451 because I really do. This was like the book that got me into sci-fi as a kid. I think this is like kind of like the book that like I kind of read in middle school, and I really like I don't know. There was like because I was such a book nerd at the time, and I really enjoyed reading. The concept of a society where books were illegal and books were, being burned, and no one was encouraged to read, and they were kind of a forbidden lifestyle choice was like extremely, it's like it's diminishing knowledge, and it's diminishing self-educated or educated populace. So I was really like drawn into this concept of a society that wasn't that really discouraged reading and really actively made it illegal, and that the term firefighters was like completely different from how we see firefighters in our society. It's like their job was mainly to go around and burn books, and it was like kind of like a horrifying concept to me as a child. So that idea of a dystopian society with a lot of control over what their population was doing, that was like a really big, really imaginative world to me. And as an adult now, it's like, oh, there's parts of this that's kind of similar in our society with so much book banning going on right now. That's kind of like, this is kind of bordering on realism. So yeah, I included in there just because Fahrenheit 451 for me was like a really big sci-fi book that got me in. It was a book. It was a book that got me into the sci-fi world and the sci-fi genre. And also, I really like Ray Bradbury. But yeah, I wanted to focus on more Where the Wild Things Are. I actually don't quite remember the main story of Where the Wild Things Are, which is kind of sad. I need to reread it. I remember that it's a celebration of imagination. Um, I forget what the main little kid's name is. That's kind of sad. But yeah, I wanted to start sketching my interpretation of it. But anyway, if Brandy's still in chat, Max! Thank you, Randy. That's right. The little bugger's name was Max. he had the onesie and the big crown. I need to reread it, and I also need to watch the movie. Okay, let's get kind of situated. Okay. Just wanted a little tint to the background. And yeah, so I was drawn to obviously I had Harry Potter on there too on my list. That is J.K. Rowling, and all this, also the fact that Pride Month just ended, and J.K. Rowling's very, very controversial and sort of vitriolic public opinion on the queer community is not great right now, and I don't really support that. So yeah, as much as like I grew up in those books covers, those illustrated book covers are one of the most iconic ones to me. I felt not that great choosing that as an option to start off July. So I just got these brush sets by Jessica Elena, an artist on Instagram, and she's a really, really, like, she has really scrumptious colors and line work, and I personally really wanted to try using some of the brushes that she had in her store. So I'm gonna see if any of these are good. I do like that one. Let's try that. But yeah. How are you doing, Brandy? How is everyone in chat doing? Are you enjoying the summer month? I feel like it's been like the weather's slowly getting hotter, but so far it's been kind of like not as aggressive as last year, I feel like, so I'm able to survive today. Ooh, one last work day and then long weekend. That's right. Do you have Friday off as well? That would be amazing, yeah. Especially because tomorrow's a federal holiday for us Americans. Oh, Friday off! Yay! Amazing. I feel like now that I've become self-employed, I'm still constantly on the lookout for like work. So it's weird because my schedule is on my own time, which is nice. But I'm also like just constantly looking. Like, I don't know if I should. I'm like looking to see if I can apply for some part-time jobs, as well as like opportunities to do more markets and things. So it's been kind of weird. It's weird when you're freelance / self-employed and you're your own business owner. It's wild. Because you're just constantly like kind of semi working. Like, you're working all the time, but not in the way that like everyone else is working. So it's kind of a weird feeling. All right. And then he's got that lake. I know people in that situation like a part-time job, if only to maintain some sort of schedule. You can see people out in the world a little bit. Yeah, I I was like, well, this the first few months after I left my job, I was just like kind of in recovery mode, I want to say. I did get to see a lot of friends and did get to do some art, but I also wasn't like pushing myself. I was also just like kind of being real lackadaisical about it because I was just tired. I think I was just really tired, and it took a while for my brain and my body to be like, okay, moving on to the next thing. Because it was just first the overwhelming sense of like the fact that I left my job hadn't really like hit me until I kind of was able to recover from the initial burnout. So then I started to look into more businessy stuff, business practices, and I've been reading a lot more and watching a lot of videos, and just kind of like mentally making a business plan for myself. I have been like applying for a lot of markets and things because now it's market season, it's convention season. I was talking to my friend who also worked as a freelancer for quite a while, and asked them for their opinion, and it was like it was like just kind of setting a schedule for yourself is really important because you have no schedule. You are accountable only to yourself, basically. So it was, I'm kind of at that stage where, like, okay, like, I have to set metrics and I need to know if I'm hitting those metrics. And yeah, I've been applying for things, but it's competitive out there. There's like people saying, oh, niche down, and other people saying, oh, don't niche down so early because, you know, still figuring yourself out. And I feel like I'm in that halfway in between those 2 points where I like know what my niche would be and a really successful niche would be, but I also, as an artist, like don't want to niche 100% down in that area. But then there's that business part of me that's like, that artistic part of you is really hard to monetize right now. The niche, if you niche down in this, you can monetize yourself pretty easily and pretty successfully in the long term. But my mind is like, I don't really want to define myself artistically, just because it's monetizable as well. So it's just kind of like, where should I put my efforts into at this moment? So I'm also looking at sort of remote part-time jobs here and there. I would like to avoid a non-remote position as much as possible, but I will also take it if it's like something that I really, really want to do. This is a very rough sketch. I say this every time, but this is a very rough sketch. Okay. Also, like, Murray Sendak's style is so distinctive. The line work is very distinctive, particularly. It's very, like, scritchy scratchy, colored pencils. It's got a very fuzzy aesthetic to everything, which is gorgeous. But I also, like, that's not my style, so I'm trying to see if maybe I can find my style a little bit better in the midst of reinterpreting someone else's work. Ooh, one of my friends did part-time work at a flower shop and ended up influencing their art a lot. That actually is very appealing to me because I was like trying to find like things that inspired me, and a lot of things that do are like very nature-y, like very plant-based. I've been researching a lot of like botany artists. I'm not really into like landscape artists. I like the really like scientific sort of like when you see plates in like a textbook and stuff, and it's like micro studies that people have done of different herbs or different plants and flowers, and then they just like accumulate all these really detailed drawings. I've become very inspired by artists who do that, and also like popular artists online who have a lot of nature aesthetic in their work. Actually, I think that's why I kind of gravitated towards Where the Wild Things Are, because it's an iconic book, but also there's a lot of nature in it. There's a lot of little fuzzy nature bits in it that I really, really love. I think it's because also like I like defined myself quite a lot by Leaf from Animal Crossing as being my muse for a lot of my artwork. Like I just keep making things Leaf related. And one of the reasons I flippin' love Leaf so much is because he's like a little gardener, he's a little flower nerd, he's a little plant nerd. I genuinely loves it, and I'm just like, that's so cute. And then I guess that kind of excitement kind of like influenced me as well. And now that I have more time to myself, I'm able to take care of my plants a lot better. Like I'm doing I have like a bookmarks tab. I have a bookmarks folder full of like ways to take care of my plants. The specific species that I have, and like what they're how to take care of them properly. I love that your friend like got inspired by nature by working at a flower shop. That is like, that would be the dream. Actually, maybe I should look into, but it's like a different aesthetic skill as well, like flower arranging. Flower arranging is pretty cool. I remember when I was like in college slash about to go into college. I remember my mom kind of like, my mom has not successfully, but she's always dreamed of having her own small business. And I remember when I was kind of in that stage of like about to leave home, she would talk about us like running a business together in the future. She was like, what if we opened like a little flower shop? I remember that sort of changed throughout the years. In the beginning, because I used to be such a book person, a book nerd, that she was telling me like, oh, I would love to have, we should open up a little cafe library where you can get coffee or tea or baked goods, and like it would be like a little library as well. And I remember as being younger, as that sounding really appealing. And then later in life, that changed into let's open a little flower store. And I remember like by that time I graduated college, and I remember telling my mom like, Mom, everything's online now. There's a lot of successful flower stores though, so she can probably still make that dream happen. But I do remember kind of curbing her enthusiasm, unfortunately. Just sad, because I would have loved, I think it would have been great to have like that sort of experience, to open your own little small business, little physical brick and mortar sort of front to the store. And yeah, and just having that sort of businessy experience. I wish the US was more conducive to small businesses being successful. Okay. I like the idea of very lush trees. So I'm probably going to obliterate the skyline on this, and kind of diminish a lot of the sky up top and cover it with tree leaves instead. I just like very top heavy tree designs. I feel like indie bookshops are more special now because there aren't as many bookstore chains available. Yes, definitely. I remember I used to see Borders everywhere. Back in college, I was in New York, so there was a lot of Borders, which is a bookstore chain, and now you don't see, I think they went bankrupt, so you don't see them anywhere. There's one near me that only sells books by women, queer, and trans artists. Really cool. That's super cute. That's a cute bookstore to go to. Um, all the authors are artists and authors. That'd be cool. I think there's a bookstore around my like the southern part of Manhattan that does like really old cookbooks, um, like really dated, out of print cookbooks. And then there's another store I think that just does cat themed books and merchandise. So all the books are sort of about cats, and the merchandise is like all cat art. So Brandy, if you ever want to visit New York City, I know a place where you can go. I should go. I should just, since the weather's so nice this summer, I should just wander New York City. I actually did that yesterday on my way back from the dentist. I just noticed because it was not overcast at all, really bright summery day, and it was really nice out. And I remember like I was walking down this part of the street that's like really close to the UN, and the UN area is really nice because there's a lot of embassies there. So there's just a lot of flags and there's a lot of like and just signage that's like representing different countries. So I remember like there were a lot of really cool looking doors. So I started taking photographs of like people's front doors. I'm sure there's like a photographer out there who just like that's their niche, that's their theme. Um, but I took a couple of photographs of people's doors yesterday because they were cool. A lot of them had like really large, interesting animal like knockers, like front door. Are they called knockers? I'm gonna call them knockers. And some of them had like iron, a lot of fancy like metal work around them and things like that. So there's another shop, cats. There's another shop here that sells only current and out of print graphic design books too. Yes, it's open only 2 days a week. That's the life when you can make your own schedule like that. Animal knockers. I'm sorry. Such a bad influence. YouTube, don't listen to don't listen in on my conversations. Heyo. Animal knockers. Front door knockers that have animal heads on them. Why do my streams always gravitate towards sexy animals? Anthropomorphized animals. Animal, yeah, it was. Oh my god. Oh, there's more behind this book I didn't realize. Oh well, it's okay. I got room. So, I on a whim, I wanted to. So I have a couple friends who live in White Plains, which is an area north of Manhattan. It's in Westchester, and it is. I've had family who live there, so I'm pretty familiar with the area. But I had some friends who moved there, and I hadn't seen them in a while, and I was getting ads about this comic convention that was going to be held in White Plains. It's called Undiscovered Realm Comic Con, and so they were like, it was their debut Comic Con after COVID. So they had started in 2019 and then shut down, as a lot of other conventions did during the pandemic. And it was, oh, is it near Sleepy Hollow? You know what? I totally forgot that it's near Sleepy Hollow. Gotta keep that tidbit in mind for Halloween this year. But there was a convention that was happening in White Plains, so they were looking for vendors. I remember I like got an ad for it when they were looking for vendors. But at the time, I didn't know if I would have that sort of inventory that would appeal to Comic Con people. So I didn't apply for it. And then I kept getting ads because they were starting to get like a guest list formed. And so I was like looking into it, and it was very close to where my friends lived. It was like the guest list was very interesting as well. There was a lot of voice actors of people who did shows from my childhood. And I was just like, in my head, I was like, I was kind of stagnating at home because I was doing a lot of art and doing a lot of research, but I wasn't doing a lot of like meeting people. It was just a lot of lonely work at home. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to volunteer for this event. It'll give me a chance to meet people who work these conventions, because that'd be really cool. I've always wanted to volunteer at conventions. It would also give me kind of insider knowledge on how, conventions are run, and that'll give me a lot of like, ideas on how to help out more in the future, either as a vendor or if I wanted to, work as staff or work as a volunteer. So I just thought overall it would be really good exposure. And it seemed like it was a debut con, and it seemed like a good like starting point, and they were also like in desperate need of more staff to help out. So I was like, okay, I'll go, and I volunteered at events before, just never at a Comic-Con event. So I will learn as I go. So I did. I this past weekend I spent the weekend there, and my God, it was so busy. Oh my God, it was like incredibly. It is like a fraction of the size and the people that will go to like, San Diego Comic Con or New York Comic Con or any of the like really big anime events or gaming events. Obviously, this is like nowhere near the volume or the size of that, but it was still incredibly busy. There were so many people, especially Saturday. Saturday was like, obviously Saturdays are the most busy out of a lot of conventions. Saturday was pretty crazy. We were on our feet. I was there for like about over 10 hours, I want to say. And it was loads of people. Really great cosplays. I'm kind of upset that I didn't stop more cosplayers and ask if I could take their photo. Loads. I mean, that's what they like. That's what they want is for people to take loads of photos of them and tag them. And there were really like a lot of great cosplayers, and I just did not ask enough. And they were like all over the place too. I'm just so mad that I was too like work focused, I guess. There was a part of me that treated it like the way that I would treat an event that my hospital would host, which tend to be more formal, which is extremely sort of like professional driven. Whereas like a lot of people who staff and do these events and conventions are usually fans themselves. So they're usually like enjoying the stuff happening as much as the attendees. So I have to remind myself in the future that if I do this again, that I should relax. I was too busy like running around and doing small tasks to properly enjoy myself while I was there. So they put me with a guest to help out. In the beginning, they had me wander the artist aisles to help out the floor. But the artist aisle is pretty self-sufficient. There weren't, in the beginning, the prep time is the most stressful because you've got all these artists coming in, vendors coming in. They're asking a ton of questions about where to go, what to do, where's this, where's that, and it's like, okay, we'll try and get you set up. And then there's logistical errors sometimes made, and then once the doors open and guests and attendees start coming in, then you have to answer a bajillion questions from people on the floor on different things. So it shifts from like helping. There should really be like an information desk for these things where people just like sit at a desk and answer questions, because I felt like people were just grabbing me because they were like urgently looking for someone to help them out, and we were understaffed, so there weren't like a ton of people to help, unfortunately. So but then they put me downstairs, which is where the celebrities were, and I got to help. I was mainly at one place helping the line with one of the guests. Super cool. I it was a I'm pretty sure it's okay to say because the event is over. But it was Judith Hogue, who was a very prolific actress, and she was April O'Neil in the animated Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I knew her from this, but she was one of the actresses in Halloween Town, the Disney Channel movie. So, and then she's also done a lot of modern stuff as well. She's in Nashville, which I haven't seen. What's it called? Is it The Magicians? I think it's The Magicians. She's in that, and yeah, she's been here and there. And obviously, most of the people that came up were like millennials who all grew up watching her on Halloween Town or TMNT. So we all got to really like geek out together. And yeah, I'm not going to include the little boat. Controversial, but I'm going to leave the little boat out of this illustration. And we had two awesome voice actors on either side. So there was, ooh, this is going to really test my memory, but the voice actor who played Lion-O in the Thundercats, Larry, I believe, was right next to us, and he was doing lines for fans. Then we had Kevin Clash on the other side of us, who was also in TMNT, but also is the voice of Elmo. So he was doing a lot of Elmo lines right next to us. So that was like a very surreal experience. Yeah, controversial, but I'm gonna leave that little boat out. I'm just gonna let it all just be a bunch of ferns and trees. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I do need to recover a little bit from it because we were just running around the entire time. There were loads of artists. I got to see a lot of artwork. There were a lot of comic books, a lot of used comic books. So I was able to get some comic books for my partner. And then, let's see. All right, I think I'm gonna start. Yeah, let's start sketching. Let's just start sketching. Yeah, let's start with this sort of pinkish color. Yeah, it was really fun. I had a surprisingly really fun time. I was really worried that it was going to be something that was going to maybe not be great, because sometimes like when you're at an event, you enjoy, as a participant, as like an attendee a lot of the times, but once you see the managerial side of things or the admin side of things, you're kind of like put off by it. I was really worried that that's what was going to happen. There was some stuff that could have been handled better, obviously, but I personally thought it was really fun first experience. So if there's a con that you really like or would like to attend, and just kind of experience sort of like the whole day and help out for the whole day, volunteering for cons is a really great way to get that experience, I think. Get to meet other people who are big fans just as you. It's just really nice to see really enthusiastic fandoms. I found that it was really fun to see people bring stuff from their childhood to get signed and things like that. I got to meet Marty Grassi, who's the voice of Courage the Cowardly Dog from Cartoon Network. He's like a big sweetheart. He was a big sweetheart. I really enjoyed meeting him, and he was a really nice guy. And he signed. He gave. I got his signature. Yeah, he said the line too. He said all the things I do for love. He was such a nice act. He was such a nice person. Yeah, they were just like, it was weird. It was like um, the more veteran staff, the ones who've worked these events longer, they were just kind of like, oh, this is all, normal. Like, I'll do this, you do that. It was just very, very, like, they were very chill. They were very experienced, they were very chill. So their approach to everything was just a lot more relaxed than me. So I was kind of like in this weird mind space throughout the whole event of being halfway between starstruck and halfway between being like, wow, all these people that I grew up hearing their voices are just like normal ass people. It was really funny when Kevin Clash was doing his Elmo voice, because he would do the Elmo voice for the kids. Um, Kids would come up and he would start speaking like Elmo. Um, it was just really funny because the kids would just be like, most of them were like, "Who is this person saying saying things in Elmo's voice?" They were very suspicious. There was like an Elmo puppet next to him the whole time too. So the kids would like look at the Elmo puppet and not look at the actor. This is very relaxing. My tree leaves are starting to look more like birds' feathers. I'll take it. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was loads of fun. Unfortunately, it was like one of the also the hottest times of the year. The humidity was insane this weekend. So I felt really bad for the attendees because the line was like out the door, and there's no AC out there. There was no AC in the main lobby where box office was either. So like they would come into the building and they're all sweating and they're all drenched. It was also raining a little bit. That's why the humidity was so bad. So like everyone was just everyone. There's so many people in costume too, full suits, and they all had to wait outside to get in. And I was just like, oh man, that flippin' sucks. Alright, let's see if I can maybe get an idea of what kind of pink would be good with this. Maybe I won't even use pink, maybe I'll just use this sort of peachy tone. So I was like trying to, so I've been drawing more. Not really sharing it online. I'm like still, like I said, like I'm shifting everything from to like a different business model now that I'm fully accepted and embracing the fact that I'm freelance. So my brain has kind of like been trying to change the way it thinks about things, and I'm starting to reintroduce routines into my life. And social media, how to focus on social media is a big part of that as well. So I haven't been really sharing a ton of things online because I'm just like trying to figure out where I want to expend a lot of my efforts, and I find that I really enjoy YouTube. I should maybe just try and stay with YouTube as much as possible and expend the most effort in YouTube. And I've been drawing more to try and figure out like what my style is. And I find that like I'm very, very scared to do a final render for my art. And I think it's because like there's a part of me that really likes how the sketchy part of it looks. So like I would get a really rough sketch of something done to capture the composition. I would do flat color renderings to see what the palette, most optimal, best palette would look like. And I would just kind of have this like really, really scritchy, scratchy sort of design. And then I would convert it into a final art form with a lot more detailed line work and things like that. I don't know if it's because of if it's line work or the way that I tend to fixate on very small details in the final, but it just doesn't look as good as somehow the sketch does for me. I don't know if I'm the only one who like feels that way. I did see an artist online state that they too like how artists like rough sketches look compared to like the final artwork sometimes. I'm like, yes, that is exactly how I feel about my art. Like there's a part of me that's like maybe I should just try to find a way to stylize sort of the rough aspects of my artwork. I feel like even though it doesn't look as refined as a final piece, maybe I should just like lean into that, because I personally find that my final rendering and finalization of an artwork is not great. This is pretty fun though. I like that the pink trees is like in the foreground. Really draws the eyes, because everything else is that and the boat draw the eyes, because everything else is cool tones. Everything else is all blues and greens. Okay. Alright. The trees look a little different from each other, but it's okay. I like that the tree trunks have a lot of blue in them. I also think I gravitate towards the cover because a lot of the colors are very desaturated, and that's been sort of the vibe that I've been feeling with my art. The desaturation of the colors. And then using like certain bright colors at certain moments to really draw your eye to certain aspects of the artwork and give it that pop. Yeah, so I got a Funko Pop figure signed by Marty. The figure was of Courage, and apparently, according to his handler, it was like a Courage the Cowardly Dog Funko Pop figures are limited edition. Like there's like fewer than 2,000 of them out there, which is pretty wild. I was upstairs at the vendors' tables trying to see if there was like a version of Courage I could get signed, and they didn't have any. So yeah, they do seem pretty hard to find. And it just made me think about like what I liked as a child growing up from Cartoon Network. And I feel like the Holy Trinity for me was Courage the Cowardly Dog, Powerpuff Girls, and Dexter's Laboratory. I think those three were my absolute childhood from Cartoon Network. I know, them and, so the Cartoon Network animations, and then Saturday morning cartoons from Warner Brothers. So like, Justice League, Batman, Justice League Animated, the Batman animated series, Superman animated series. Like those were, and then which X-Men was it? It was like X-Men when they were like teenagers and going to high school. What was that X-Men called? Those were my Saturday morning cartoons. I would say that that's like made me the DC fan mostly, like growing up with Batman mostly. And then the only Marvel characters that I like really grew up with was X-Men, I would say. Storm was my favorite. I didn't read any other, I was not familiar or read any of the other Marvel characters until they started doing all of those MCU movies. So I did not grow up with Iron Man or Hulk or any of them. Have I seen the new X-Men series? Oh yeah, that's on my list. That is on my list of things to watch. Was it X-Men 74 or something? What's it called? Oh, sorry, copyright. Copyright music. Yeah, Storm was my favorite, but I think Couples. I also really liked Jean Grey, but I felt like her and Scott were like kind of whatever as a couple. I was more of a Rogue and Gambit fan. X-Men 97. Okay, because it's a direct continuation of the 90s show. You know what? That means I have to watch it then. Yeah, I've been seeing snippets of it, and clips of it, and I'm just like, yes, this confirms everything of what I need to see about this show. It's just, I'm actually kind of excited about the Deadpool and Wolverine movie coming out. Because it just looks bonkers. I don't think I can ever picture anyone else to be Wolverine than Hugh Jackman now. He's been typecast forever in my brain as Wolverine. And he still looks exactly the same as he did since the first X-Men live action movie. That's another thing I need to watch and rewatch is Daredevil. I really like Charlie Cox. I think his interpretation of Daredevil is really good, and I need to rewatch, especially because a more recent season has come out. Another show to watch if you haven't already is Legion, adjacent to X-Men. It's very different than any of those other superhero shows. Ooh, Legion. Oh boy. I'm gonna add that to my list as well, in addition to watching all of Daredevil again, as well as the X-Men 97 show. Ooh, mutants but spooky. That sounds really good. That sounds like a vibe. Ooh, really good cast. So is it not the I'm guessing it's not the X-Men, right? It's like another group of mutants, probably. Yeah, separate but in the same universe. Okay, that makes sense. That sounds cool. I need to add that to the list. Yeah, I like that. Spooky. I feel like I like when there's thematic changes. I feel like the trend of like superhero stuff between universes and between authors is like if it like shifts to being more graphic and violent. Speaking as someone who's been a very long-term Batman fan, like the shift to like being extremely violent is not always appealing to me. So if it's become more like you say like thematically like scarier, but not necessarily more like gory and violent, I vibe with that. Dan Stevens, Aubrey Plaza, Amber Midthunder, Jean Smart. Ooh, lots of awesome actors. Huh. You know what? Maybe I saw like a clip of Aubrey Plaza promoting something like that, now that I think about it. I'll have to look into it to see if I've gotten any ads about it. Ooh, it's on Hulu. Okay. Uh, wait, Legion. Am I thinking of, uh, wait, is Legion? Am I mixing it up with another superhero by any chance? I might be because I'm so bad with names lately, but, what's the one with the, no, that's not the same then, because I think it's Steven Yeun who voices the character, but he's like a mixed race, half Asian, half white superhero, and his dad is it Omni Man or something? His dad's like Omni Man. Oh, Invincible. Thank you. I was like, there's another one that sounds kind of similar, but that's Invincible. You're right, it's not in Marvel. Yeah, that's why like what I said earlier about things being inherently more violent, I was like thinking of like shows like Invincible and like shows like The Boys. Oh, Legion is live action. Oh, gotcha. So not it's not animated. Got it. Still sounds really cool. I feel like in the past, maybe I would have preferred to watch like animated superhero stuff, but nowadays just the live action. Sometimes live action can really hit the nail on the head. Like for instance, the newest Batman movie, the one with Robert Pattinson, and the Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix were so good. Such good live action movies of a, quite honestly, like a tired trope, a tired franchise. So many interpretations of Batman and the Joker out there. Really interesting visual style. Lots of 70s colors, outfits, decor. But then they have cell phones? Oh, so it's hard to tell what era it's supposed to be? Maybe it's like one of those weird like fusion eras. Yeah, I thought, aren't we supposed to have flying cars by now? I feel like Back to the Future and the Jetsons was supposed to tell us that we're supposed to have flying cars by now. We're supposed to have hoverboards. It's really interesting when you see like really dated, decades old comic book and like things that tell like technology of the future, and how accurate seeming those are. I feel like Star Trek got it right a lot of the time. I almost forgot Jermaine Clement. Oh, I love Jermaine. Yeah, my friend really loved Flight of the Conchords, and I'm sure she still does. But I also really love him in What We Do in the Shadows. He's so good in What We Do in the Shadows. I love him. Such a distinctive voice. He's so good. I will support him in any artistic pursuits he has. Alright, so Legion. Gotta watch Legion. We've been watching House of the Dragon, along with a ton of other people. And James and I realized that we like need to rewatch season 1. We cannot recall a lot of things from what's happening in this season. Brandy's never watched any Game of Thrones. You know what? You are not missing much. I feel like the first Game of Thrones was so dramatically different from anything people realized about the fantasy genre, that's why it has such a toehold in our in like modern pop culture. But honestly, it's kind of like, I mean, there's like faults. There's storyline faults, and I'm sure you've seen a lot of people outraged with how the first Game of Thrones series ended, so. I just like seeing it for the dragons, honestly, at this point. It's a lot of character drama, made up fantasy political drama, and things like that. But what I really want to see is how dragons are utilized and are basically a weapon of mass destruction in their society. I don't know a lot, but I got the impression early on that it was very rapey. Yeah, there's some hard there's some hard sex scenes in it. Yeah. If anyone is not okay with like not okay with like limited consent or like just a lot of sex scenes that are very dubious, I would not recommend watching it. I was very surprised that my like mom actually liked Game of Thrones in the beginning, like a lot of us did, because I did not think anything in the fantasy genre would interest her, but it does have a lot of action. It's got a lot of good action. She was very bored by all the political stuff going on, which makes sense. But it was like the fantasy scenes, like the things that you sign up for to see, is like very good when you think of fantasy. But yeah, I very quickly decided not to watch it with her because there are quite a bit of really strange and disturbing sex scenes. And also a lot of gore. So some things it's better off watching by yourself. I keep watching Space Politics, so I'd probably be good with that part of it. Star Trek is so much space politics, yeah. And it's funny because it's like, that's like the thing that people hated about Star Wars in the prequel, right? It was just like all of the political speak and yeah, The Expanse. Have you watched Scavenger's Reign yet on Netflix? We just finished watching Scavenger's Reign, and there's been some really good, juicy sci-fi, really good original sci-fi out there lately. Um, James and I watched Three Body Problem. It was it's based on a book that I've been wanting to read for a while anyway, but they made a Netflix series about it, and obviously there's contention online between book readers and people who liked the TV series. I personally thought the TV series made me want to read the book, which has been on my to-read list anyway. So I was like, I also recommend Three Body Problem. I feel like that and that scene with the boat. Oh yeah. Okay, so I binged it first before James. James and I watched like the first one or two episodes together, and then he didn't want to keep watching, and I wanted to. So he went to bed, and I binged it. And I basically had him watch it again. I told him I'd be down to rewatch it because there's so many scenes that you pick up on coming back around and rewatching it anyway. So I when the boat episode came up, I was like, James, keep your eyes peeled for this one, because oh my god. That was the craziest scene I'd seen in a long time. And like, that was, I watch a lot of horror, but I didn't expect that in the show. Yes, it is extremely, I think it's even more like grossly impactful because the whole time they're all just talking, they're all researchers talking about science and space and things. And there's like nothing overtly violent about it until that episode. It really is super jarring. Oh, such a good show though. And now I'm gonna try and make time to read the book as well, because my goodness, what a show. That scene with the book, the boat, trying not to give it away too much. I don't know, just been a lot of like really yummy, scrumptious sci-fi out there lately. It made me want to delve back into a lot of sci-fi genres. Three Body Problem, and also Scavenger's Reign. Scavenger's Reign is so good. I would put it up there as maybe being even better than Three Body Problem for me. It's got a lot of really good, interesting like concepts about alien life. It's got human survival in it. It's got, I guess some of it could be aligned with horror, just like elements. The way that Alien has a bit of horror in it, being hunted down by something, or just like stuff that happens to the body and to people when they're isolated and on an alien planet for that long. Um, it's got like themes of the human soul, machine intelligence. Uh, we also thought it was very Pokemon-esque because they're on an alien planet a lot of the time, and there's a lot of creatures on it. And so we would stop an episode to go back a little bit to see like what was that creature in like the small corner there. Also, the one with the cowboys and the time travel hole. It's called Outer Range. They should have called it Time Hole. Outer Range. There's like a time hole and cowboys. That sounds interesting. I do enjoy a little bit of. Oh, what's that movie? Cowboys versus Aliens. Is that the one? It's the one with I think Daniel Craig in it. I saw that ages ago. I don't remember a lot of it. This is a very yummy pencil. It's got a lot of scritchy scratch. It's got a lot of grit to it that I like. It's got a lot of yummy textures built in. Time hole. It's a drama about two feuding ranch families in Wyoming, but there's also there's time travel. Oh, that sounds interesting. That sounds that sounds like a very, very fun concept to work around. Hmm. What other shows and movies have there been where the time travel is done really well? Memento, I think, is one of Christopher Nolan's early movies. I really liked Memento. I need to rewatch Memento. I think that's my favorite kind of sci-fi sometimes. Take a normal scenario and throw some weird shit at it. Yeah, I mean, like, that's like kind of like how, it's kind of like how a lot of sci-fi operates. Well, like, half the time, it's like a future society and a lot of super technologically advanced stuff from the future, and that's cool and all. But yeah, like the fun stuff is when it's like semi relevant to your time period. Another reason why I think Scavenger's Reign was really good because a lot of it was like relatable tech. They've got some obviously some advanced stuff, space travel being one of them, commercialized space travel being one of them, but it's like just close enough to reality that's like, oh, like that's what would happen if we were in that same situation instead of something so like abstract and like in the future that's kind of just just there for the visual, um there for the interest rather than it being sort of a relatable scenario. And then the other half of sci-fi is, like you said, like a normal thing that they throw a lot of weird shit at. Uh, I don't know why when you said that I thought of Independence Day. I'm thinking of a lot of like invasion movies, invasion scenarios. Did I watch Fallout? I did. So we had Amazon Prime for like a day, because it came out literally when our Prime subscription was, the trial period was about to end. So I only got to watch like one episode. Did you? The entire cast for Fallout is gonna be at New York Comic Con. Walter Goggins, I really, really wanna. I really thought his character was so cool as the Ghoul, and I would really love to meet him at New York City Comic Con. I need to get Amazon purely to watch Fallout. There's also something else coming out on Amazon Prime. Oh yes, there's a new Batman series coming out. There's a new animated Batman series coming out on Amazon Prime, and we saw the trailer for it, and now we need to watch it. So yeah, we will eventually get Prime again. We might steal it off of someone else maybe, but oh, did you see, Brandy, did you see the trailer for a new Dracula movie? It's called Nosferatu, and I forget the director's name, but he also directed The Witch. So stylistically, it seems to be kind of in line with The Witch. Yeah, it looked super cool. I really liked that you don't see what Dracula looks like. So not a spoiler for anyone, because literally it's complaining about not knowing enough, actually. But I liked that his aura is there, his presence is felt, but he's like, you don't ever distinctly see what he looks like or who it is. We know he's gonna look good. Could you imagine the whole movie just doesn't show you Dracula? That'd be actually pretty cool too. Bill Skarsgård does creepy well. Does creepy a little too well, I think. There is an ambulance outside who's very, very desperate to get on by. What if he's just Pennywise again? I don't know about that. I wouldn't. I'd be severely disappointed. Alright, just looking at the composition of this a little bit, just to see how things are looking. It's good to zoom out every once in a while. But now I want that movie to also exist separately. What other movies? There's the new Joker and Harley movie. Lady Gaga's playing Harley. It's coming out in October. Oh, it was funny because like when we saw the trailer for Nosferatu, they were like, opening in theaters December 25th, and I was like, wow, they were really bold going straight for Christmas Day. Come watch this really scary Dracula movie on Christmas Day with all your children and family. I mean, let's be fair. November and December are just the other bookend of Halloween season. Halloween season is August, September, October, November, December. It's got a 2-month bookend on each side. For Brandy or for anyone in chat, does anyone have a favorite book cover? Or like a book cover that they recall nostalgically? This is a very bright blue, but I'm just experimenting a little bit. Oh, that's too bright. Yeah. I knew it. What else do I need to watch? So many things to watch nowadays. We've been watching True Detective, because neither of us had ever watched True Detective before. So we watched season 1, which is the one with Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey. And then we jumped around and watched season 3. And that one's the one with Mahershala Ali. And I think season 2 is the one with Colin Farrell. But I just kind of want to watch the whole series because Judy Foster is in season 4, which is the most recent one. Okay, we've got some blue trees. We're about to have some brown in there as well. Sorry if I'm if all my moving around of the canvas is making you sick, because that's what I do when I'm drawing, is I just zoom out and I zoom in and I just move to another location. Ooh, so the Nosferatu is exciting, but there's also a new Alien movie coming out as well. I'm pretty excited about that. Need to watch that. I got alert, but share this somewhere when you're done, please. Aw, thanks, Brandy. Yes, I will try to share more of my art. I swear to God. I gotta find a better way to manage my artwork share. I will share it, thank you. Yeah, there's the new Alien movie coming out. I was like thinking of, like, when I was researching what kind of book covers I would want to draw on stream, I did think about like some horror maybe books. I'm trying to think what kind of horror books I grew up with. Right now I have a couple on my bookshelf that are H.P. Lovecraft, and those are kind of cool, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to draw them, because some of the covers that they use is like, for like the Penguin classics, I guess, they use like a big oil painting, and I was like, I'm not gonna try and redraw an oil painting on stream. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark is very traumatic for me. I don't know if I will end up drawing anything about that, because who is the artist who did Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark? Because my God, those book covers and those illustrations gave me nightmares as a kid. I'm drawing the leaves the same way I draw people's hair if they have curls. This tree just has curly hair to me. Cute little tight curls. Like rethinking the leaves on the pink trees. I feel like that doesn't really encapsulate the style I like. This is really fun though. This is like, I am gravitating towards a lot of nature themed stuff. So this is really scratching that itch. I'm also like trying to find out like if I'm more of a person who likes line art in their style or if I feel like I'm not someone who can fully embrace no line work in my art. But I also don't want line art or line work everywhere in my artwork either. Because all of my old artwork is very heavily anime inspired, and anime is just all, beautiful line work. I feel like that's not me either. So like this is kind of like a weird halfway point for me where everything is kind of sort of defined by line work, but also not completely. Trying to think what other books out there have really iconic covers for me. I think there was like a dragon series. It was called like Aragon, I want to say. I remember that big blue dragon right in the middle of it. I need to finish more of my art and share it more. That is my goal for this summer, is to create a backlog of art. It's not like I haven't been doing art either. I think it's just like it's like that part of me that's like a perfectionist and it wants to make sure it's social media ready before I upload it, which is stupid because a lot of people, and this includes me, is like I actually enjoy seeing a lot of the like process renders and things like that more anyway. So I don't know why I put it on myself to like delay putting things online and showing people my art online, to make sure it's perfect or final. When it's like I could just do it as is. I'm sure it'll be fine. I shouldn't do that for my portfolio. That's different. Your portfolio is your professional face as an artist. But social media is for people to connect. So I should really not burden myself so hard on stuff like that. Just saw a glitch on my screen. I've got like a burning itch to play more video games as well. I probably won't play any. I'm trying to not do as many video games on my streams, so I won't be playing too much unless it's like themed around something. Because I really do want to I like doing art. I like streaming art. I'd like to do more art. There's parts of this that I really like and parts of it where stylistically kind of clashes. Like how the tree trunks are defined versus the leaves. Like I really like how the green canopy here and the grass is looking. But I think maybe something more detailed like the tree trunks are like kind of clashing with the sort of general looseness of the piece. I am loving this though. July 4th is tomorrow. You know what I wish we had instead of fireworks? First off, fireworks are extremely not great for the environment. They're also extremely dangerous if not handled properly. I remember I was in Korea and they used to do this show back in like early 2000 of like, I don't know, just like random things happening to people that's kind of surprising. Back before like the internet was like super on top of that sort of thing. And they had this one story of like this family and like they were like doing fireworks on a beach, and you hear about these sorts of injuries and it's like the firework doesn't go off, and so what does the person do? They hold the firework up to their head to peer into, they put their eye near an extremely explosive device. So you hear about, you see, I remember as a kid like seeing that story and being like, wow, fireworks are like super dangerous. And my opinion has not changed. They are super dangerous. And also, you know, people with pets hate them. People who are veterans find it really, really difficult to hear fireworks. Those with like really severe PTSD. So all in all, like there's just like groups of people who and animals that do not like fireworks. Um, and I would much prefer to see drones, actually. If anyone has seen like drones, like coordinated drone work, it's pretty incredible. I remember I saw one for Halloween last year on like TikTok, and it was like a ginormous skeleton walking across the sky. So yeah, we should do that. We should do that instead of fireworks. They're loud and disruptive and have lots of smoke. But you know what doesn't have any of that? Drones. Coordinated drones. Alright, so I love how this like sort of shaggy hair. All of these look like hairstyles actually. All of these leaves, they kind of look like someone's hair. Like how shaggy it looks. Start with a really neutral sort of background. What else have we been watching? I've been watching a ton of British Cooking Baking Show. It's like a very good background sort of show while I'm doing other stuff. I am loving drawing a bunch of trees. This one might be too far down already. So I think, you know what happened? I think I kind of combined this top part of the tree and this bottom part of the tree leaves too close together. So I'm going to separate them. They're still much closer together than in the actual illustration, but okay. And then a little bit of blue here and there. What other shows did I grow up watching? I looked up like just random book covers when I was kind of like thinking of book covers for this stream, and the one of the book covers that came up was Animorphs. I was like, oh, I remember reading Animorphs. Such a weird series. Should I have this be... I should have that be the back of the outline. Animorphs was cool. Animorphs was fun. It was super dark though, now that I think about it. So you think just like, oh, these fun, hip kids, teenagers just turning into animals. Because as a child, that is like the ultimate superpower, right? Is to turn into an animal that you like. You can just be your dog. Just be a dog. Be a cat. Be a tiger. um, but like the book series, the story itself is like they turn into animals because they gain this power because they're trying to stop an invasive mind controlling species from taking over the earth. Like, yeah, the more I'm seeing like how the other trees are looking, the pink trees are looking a little too much. I'm gonna have to go back to that. Oh, also, if anyone has video games that they have on their wish list for Steam, Steam's having a big summer sale right now. So if you are feeling video games, some games are on sale. I'm actually pretty excited for fall to roll around. I know that we're still in summer, still got a lot of summer left, but my favorite season is autumn. I'm always thinking about what to do in autumn. I'm hoping I'll do more markets in autumn. There are so many conventions happening in autumn. We've got New York Comic Con is the big one, and then there's some markets here and there. And it's like the season where actually a lot of freelance artists, if they're merchandise based, have to like plan because so many people start holiday shopping around that time too. So it's a wild time to be planning that early. Ooh, maybe I have a watercolor brush. I might try watercolor for the sky. Let's try a little bit of that. It looks like the book cover had both a mixed media of watercolor, color pencil, maybe ink as well. Hard to tell. It's hard to tell that this is watercolor, but that actually looks quite nice. Let me see if I can get maybe like a. It's all about layers when it comes to watercolor. So let me see if maybe I can turn like one part of the sky a different color. What happens if I want a bright white? Does it? Yeah, it doesn't do anything. I'll need to change. This looks nice though. He's got quite a lot of stars in there. I mean, I'm adding stars in areas I know are gonna get covered, but it's just fun conceptually to plan out where they're gonna go. If anyone else is doing art, I would love to know what you're drawing. I also need to I have a bunch of videos that I need to work on. I have a lot of videos that I had planned out and I just never got around to properly filming and editing them all the way, so gotta work on that too. Okay, we got some trees over there, we got some trees over here. Let's work on some of these trunks. Yeah, it looks like what he did was he colored in with a lot of paint, watercolory effect, maybe some color pencil, but it looks like he also did some cross hatching with an ink pen as well, or maybe a really dark color pencil, which is really cool. I'm trying to stray away from having my art replicate the style too much. Although I was reading, because I never went to art school. Art school was pretty heavy on my. There's a part of me that wonders maybe I should have gone to art school, because I did do AP portfolio. My family was actually quite encouraging about me going to art school as well, but I just didn't end up going. And there's a part of me that kind of thinks maybe I should have gone, but then there's also a part of me that's I'm kind of glad I didn't, because just because you go to art school doesn't mean that you will be guaranteed work in the art field. So I feel like if maybe I had gone to art school, it would have burnt me out of art, probably. It's a part of me that thinks that. But I read some books from people who did go to art school, are professional artists who have gone through the schooling, and a lot of what students do that I actually haven't really done are master studies. They do proper master studies. They look at someone's artwork and they emulate the style of it, the composition of it. Everything is, basically essentially copied, but for the purposes of learning how to do it. Because for the purposes of learning how to do it and for the purposes of being trained in a certain style, because that's what art used to be, right? It's people would get apprenticed and then they learn the style of their master, basically. So a master study is essentially something similar. You're not supposed to market yourself as being the originator of it, obviously, but the book was talking about how the fastest way to learn something is to basically essentially copy the skills of someone who is a lot more talented than you, or someone who has the style of art that you would like to learn. Because if you want to learn, let's say Impressionism painting, which I don't know if anyone does that nowadays, it's on the forefront of pushing the limits of Impressionism out there, but Like you're not gonna learn impressionism by like just bringing it out of your brain basically. Like you, the style is defined by the artists before you. So and it's like something that I think a lot of people who aren't in the creative field don't realize, but like it's very hard to be 100% original, and you can be unique in that you blend together styles that you are good at and have been influenced by, but you are like not. No one's 100% original. Everyone's learned something from someone else. Like, and that's what's good about the human brain, is that it's very good at combining things, and that's why copying and like forgery is so looked down on. Not just for like basic, obvious ethical reasons, but just because like it's a skill that people learn, and then you learn to like respect the work of other people. It's not meant to copy everything, and then try to sell it off as your own. Okay, so the bushes back here are kind of a similar color, and yet they're also not. I don't know how he did that. It looks like texture-wise, he did a lot of straight lines for the grass, but then here he did a lot less hatching and a lot more like let the colors kind of take over, which is really cool. And that seems to be more watercolor effecty as well, so I'm wondering if I should go back to that watercolor. I need to organize my brushes. Some of these brushes are really good, and some of them are like absolutely not essential at all. Uh, let's try this one. Let's see how it goes. That's unique. I don't hate it yet. Okay, and then this next color isn't showing up too well. Actually, let's try this one. This is my first time using watercolor effects on my iPad on Procreate. I always wanted to learn watercolor and I just never got around to it, and now I'm just gonna have to accept the fact that maybe I will never learn it. Or I'll never like intentionally try to master it. I might do it here and there, but I feel like digitally, I think I'm more of a digital artist nowadays. Okay, I like this sort of blue-green, but it's also a little bit too bright. Let's try that. Let's go back to Yummy Pencils. These are some brushes by Jessica Elena, who is an artist. Okay, so it's a little bit too light. Make it a little bit darker. So this is so far what I've done so far with where the wild things are. Super fun composition. I took out the little boat. I'm going to try and work on some of these bushes in the background. I might leave the beast for last. That's what I've decided. Wait, what layer am I on? Oh, no, I should not be on that layer. No! Okay. I'm kind of hungry. I have a protein pack next to me. I'm gonna eat that a little bit as I'm working. I anticipated this. The watercolor seems to add like a lot of richness, which is cool. And kind of hard to see in oh, it actually shows up better on my air server. So you guys are probably seeing a lot better transition of color than I am. Because mine looks a little bit darker, but you can see kind of like this transition of watercolor right there between the two blues. It's very apparent on screen, not as apparent on my iPad. What other books can I do? I've got a whole bunch of books here. But I am actually really enjoying like this sort of nature inspired design of this. I don't know. Maybe like the Lorax from Dr. Seuss might be an option. That might be too light. Yeah, but I'm kind of excited for fall because I do have some projects planned for fall on stream that should be really fun. We'll see how it goes. It's a bit ambitious of me. Mixed feelings about the bushes. I won't lie. I think it's because it's really hard to see the transition between the grass and the bushes. I think that's kind of throwing me off. There's not a really good depth distinguishing between them. Well, now it kind of looks like the grass is really long, but it's okay. I still like it better. Hmm. We shall keep going. Alright, let's get this tree trunk set up here. Man, it's gonna be tough finding a follow-up to this book cover for next week. I really like how the cover for Where the Wild Things Are is. I also am very tempted to do an illustration from Winnie the Pooh, A. Mills. Winnie the Pooh. And you know what? There's also a exhibition going on at a museum near me for Beatrix Potter. I should check to see if the exhibition is still going, because that was on my to-do list and I completely blanked. Somehow talking about nature reminded me that there's a Beatrix Potter exhibition going on. I feel like a lot of my childhood books were influenced by a lot of animals or people being in the woods. We got Winnie the Pooh, we got Beatrix Potter, Frog and Toad. Alright. Okay. Alright, heated water in such a cool way. I don't know if I can emulate that. Okay, let's try. It's gonna be the same color as the sky. And then let me just add some depth of color to it. This is my first time trying digital watercolor. I mean, not to say that I'm more experienced in actual watercolor. So this is my first time actually trying it digitally. Watercolor on a digital platform, and yeah, it's looking grim. Quick, cover it. Cover it with some line work. Nah, I don't like that the blue is the exact same as the tree trunks. Let's do. I hope to do more practice with traditional mediums. Okay, so I was reading in another book about how digital art is more in demand, which is understandable. It's also much more convenient, it's faster. You can export files more quickly, and you don't have to make copies of basically art that you've made physically. So it's less likely to get stolen and things like that, or lost. But the approach of digital art is that the undo button makes art extremely like too easy to try and perfect, because you have an undo button. So a lot of people who seek perfectionism in their work spiral into just undoing everything because they're not happy with it and they don't know how to work around it, or they don't learn how to work around it, which is what traditional mediums force you to do. Is that if you mess up, it's permanent. You can try to erase it, you can try to get rid of it, but for the most part, you're kind of stuck with it. So I was reading that people who do like digital art and aim to do well digitally should practice at some points to try to maybe do a drawing without using the undo button, and just try to emulate maybe like traditional techniques, so that you don't end up forcing yourself to redo your art piece every single time because you're unhappy with it, as opposed to like traditional, which is a lot more investment and a lot more involvement, a lot more, I guess, like problem solving, because it is semi-permanent to a degree, which I thought was a really good mental concept. That's what I'm trying to do now with my artwork, is to try and minimize the undo button, or having the undo button be such a common tool for me to use. I say that, and I'm now about to use it because I don't like how this wave turned out. Maybe it's because water is hard. I feel like water is a hard thing to try and learn as a skill to draw successfully. I'm glad that there's like different elements in this piece, though. The fact that there's water, there's grass, there's bushes, there's trees and tree trunks, and all that's left is a big shaggy monster I have to make. I don't know about the water, you guys. My favorite part of this is The sky, actually, how the sky looks right there is my favorite with the stars, and also this tree line right here with the sky peeking through. That's probably my favorite part of this. The grass is my second favorite. I'm quite fond of how the grass came out. But now I need to figure out how to draw the big beast, because he's the last bit. Oh, it's already 2 o'clock. I think I'm probably going to wrap up with the beast soon. Beast? Wild thing? I guess wild thing's the technical term. Maybe my style is just make everything look like grass. Maybe just have everything have the same texture as grass. Maybe that's my go-to style now. It's a shaggy lake. Alright, let's go for like a really... like white accent. I don't know if that stands out enough. Probably not. Let's leave it as is. Let's do this guy. Alright, so he's got a bluish sort of body. Ooh, no, too bright. Alright, he's just sitting. He's just sitting and taking a quick nap. That's the life. I missed a part of the sky there. There's a white piece right there. Ah, that's gonna bother me. Alright, he's got his hand. I gotta move this up. He's got his hand right there. He's holding his arm up. His foot is kind of just hanging out. Alright, this is a very rough idea of where his general body's gonna be. And then I'm going to try and do a sort of... it's a very grayish tone. Yeah, not too brown. Oh, he's got little square teeth. That's really cute. I didn't notice that. I thought he had little fangs. Oh no, he's got little square teeth. He's got human teeth. This is a new thing for me, color blocking first before doing the line art. Because I'm usually more of a color inside the line sort of person. But I find that sometimes just doing a rough color block sometimes gives me an idea, a better idea of how the art's looking. I don't know, we shall see if that's valid or not. And he's got little feet. He's got his feet right here. His feet are a different color from his head. I just realized. He's got like skin tone color feet. He's got a human foot and human teeth. I never realized how human-like he is. Okay. Alright, dude, let's get you set up. Alright. It's just a big amorphous blob. Okay, let's get him sketched out. Let's do some work on him. Okay, so yeah, let's do, maybe I should try a different pencil and see how that goes. Oh, very different. Oh, this is very different. Yeah, very smooth pencil action is super different. Pardon moi for just a moment. My phone's been blowing up. Give me 1 second just to check. Ah, oh my god! I had a friend just message me. Esther, if you're still there. Hello. Oh yeah, I stream every Wednesday. Anyone who's joining for the first time, I stream every Wednesday. So, unless obviously I'm otherwise preoccupied, but otherwise I do stream every Wednesday. Alright, he's got a big shaggy head. He's got his ear. Yeah, this is the first time I'm like following my line art with after I've done the coloring. So we shall see if this looks good proportionally afterwards. He just looks like a big oxen, I guess, like a big ox sort of figure. Yeah, I'm definitely going to add a bit more color just to add some depth afterwards. He's just a big brown blob at the moment. I'm kind of nervous that this, because the way that the line work is so different from how the trees and the leaves were done, that this will look very, I don't know, uncohesive. Look at his little fuzzy face. He's just taking a little nap. Mine's more shaggy than the one in the official book, I think. If this creature were to suddenly appear in front of you, would you be scared by it? I don't know. Does he qualify as sort of a scary looking figure? I feel like I'm biased because since I've read the book, I know he's not a bad character. He just looks very grandfatherly. He just looks old and tired. Okay, all right. So that's the big sort of face area done. Let's try and coloring some sections. Okay, that looks really good. Let's try. That's too light, I think. There we go. I am really liking these Jessica Elena digital brushes right now. If anyone who doesn't know her artwork, please check her out on Instagram, Jessica Elena. Amazing, amazing artist. And if you like the brushes, they're for sale. Oh man, I'm gonna have to really do a deep dive into what kind of books I can illustrate for next time. This one was really fun. Okay, alright, let's move on to the body. I can already tell this body's gonna take me a little bit of work. Oh no. I want to redo, if I were to go back and redo this, I would want to redo these pink trees. The pink trees were a good icebreaker into getting this started. But now that I've seen what it looks like cohesively, they could be better. Oh, he just looks big and shaggy. Why does mine look like such an old man compared to the compared to the official illustration? Mine just looks like a very tired old man who's taking a quick nap. Well out for a walk. Yeah, this was a good start to this project. I genuinely wanted to start strong, really fun illustration. This one was fun. I would love to see everyone else's style of this iconic childhood book. Just look how shaggy he is. Big shaggy oxen man. I should really read this book again. His claws are very stumpy. A lot of shag. A lot of dander probably coming off of him. Okay. Yeah, doing the shaggy line work is fun. Whoop. I know I'm using different brushes. I'm just trying to just fill in the empty white space. Okay, we are nearing the end already. We just have his feet left. Oh, but look at that. This was such an iconic book in my childhood. It feels kind of surreal that I just try to draw this. Oh. Well, this is good practice for my toe anatomy. God, look at how human-like his feet is. Give him his little toenails. And then give him his other foot. Let's see. That toe is... This is very good practice for feet. One foot's, you're seeing it from the top, and then the other you're seeing from the bottom. Wonder what shoe size this guy is. Okay, that's his feet. Actually, I'm gonna give him a slightly more human skin tone as well. If anyone watching the VOD could recommend books that they personally would like to see me illustrate, or they would just like to comment on which ones are their favorites, just feel free to comment below. I would love to know what other books. It might trigger a memory for me too, because I know there's lots of books out there that I would gladly draw. And there's a lot out there that I know but can't remember the titles for. Okay, that foot is pretty much done, and then this foot is almost done. Oh, wrong color. That's what I wanted. And then just a little bit of white for the toenails. Oh, why isn't that changing? All right. Oh, with the exception of that little bit of color in the background. And just finish off with a little bit of watercolor right there. Alright. Little blotch in the corner. Okay. So, Where the Wild Things Are. Written, illustrated by Maurice Sendak. And this is my very rough interpretation. I will tell you right now, I hate the feet. The feet look too simplistic. Everything else is nicely like textured. It's got a lot of brush strokes, a lot of little strokes here and there, but the feet are just very cartoony looking in the middle of all that. I do not love that. I would redo the foot if I could. I would also redo this bush right here. It's just kind of blending in too much. It doesn't really stand out. I would also redo the pink trees. I feel like I was going for a very feathery sort of look, and they're kind of at odds with the textures of the other trees. The book has something similar where the trees are also different from each other, but I think cohesively it just looks very well put together despite the different leaves. But for some reason mine just looks kind of, I don't know. Maybe I'm just being very hard on myself. Oh, there's one section I haven't finished. Sorry. This is the last one. That's right. So there's a tree section here that I completely forgot. It's not going to take very long, it's just... Okay, yeah, because these two... Okay, there we go. Just looks like a mess in the corner, but it's okay. It's better than it was before, which was nothing. I would say I really love how the grass turned out. The grass is actually a lot of fun. I can actually have more fun with that. I really love the watercolor effects of the sky as well. I think that difference in texture and media is actually really good. I really like how shaggy the Wild Thing ended up looking. But he's a little bit harsh on the eyes, I feel like, so I would try to soften it up a little bit, maybe blend a little bit more. But yeah, otherwise I feel like I can make those improvements and it'll be better. But this was like a ton of fun. I think it's because the color palette appealed to me, the composition appealed to me, the fact that it has a lot of leaves and nature stuff in it was really fun, and that's been a major inspiration for me, is more naturey stuff. The bushes look less like bushes when I zoom out, and they look more like a mountain range, which I feel like doesn't get the point across as well. So that definitely needs to be improved. But otherwise that's it. Otherwise, this is the finished drawing. Yeah, you guys, I'm all done. I finished it. I hope if you were watching that you got to also do some artwork. If you haven't, I would love to hear what kind of books you would like to see me illustrate, or even books that you personally love yourself, in the comments. I've been trying to read more, so hearing about other people's books and reading habits lately have been extremely fun for me to talk about. So yeah, if you have any books that you're reading right now, or you have favorite books from your childhood or growing up, or any sort of memorable covers that you remember, I would love to hear them in chat. Sorry, not in chat, in comments. And that way I can plan for next week. Otherwise I'll try to think of a similar book cover theme that I would say would be in line with this, because this was a lot of fun. So yeah, July is book cover month for me. I'm going to try and find more books that I will do more illustrations of. But yeah, otherwise I'm going to try and upload more on social media as well. So if you follow me on any of my social media, on the links below, I will do my best this summer to create better uploading habits. But yeah, otherwise, if you're here to see me stream, I stream every Wednesday from noon until 2 or 3ish, and sometimes I play video games, but mostly I do art. So yeah, if you want, you can follow me on my social media, or you can follow me every Wednesday on my streams here on YouTube. So yeah, So good to see everyone in chat today. Hope you have a wonderful July 4th in America, and I will see you next week. Bye!